Warriors. Their hidden advantage is something most teams would pay a fortune for. Continuity. No revolving door of players, no learning who's who games, just the same familiar faces running it back. 12 of their top 13 are back, including Curry, Green, Hield, JK, and Moody. Even Butler, who came midseason last year, is locked in, and it shows. They kicked off the season with 2 wins and 1 loss, already looking like a group that skipped the awkward phase. It's not just the names, it's the structure. Kerr is still the coach. Same system, same expectation. These guys aren't wasting practice hours installing new plays or figuring out rotation. They're diving straight into the deep end, fine-tuning, execution. That kind of stability lets them focus on playoff-level details from day one. And while teams with fresh rosters are out here battling chemistry hiccups, Golden State is busy sharpening what's already working. Add in the fact that the front office barely touched the core, and you've got a team that knows exactly what it's doing. They aren't building, they're refining. And in a league constantly reshuffling, that's a real edge. Hiding in plain sight, Lakers. This team's hidden advantage was finding someone who was willing to trade a future NBA all-time great. The way Luka has been playing this season makes that clear. The move for Luka flipped their entire outlook without blowing up the whole structure. On February 1st and 2nd, they landed him in a deal with Dallas and Utah. They gave up Anthony Davis, Max Christie, and a future first-rounder, but pulled in Luka, Maxi Kleber, and Markieff Moore. That's not just a steal, it's a total shift in direction. Luka came in averaging over 28 points, 8 rebounds, and nearly 8 assists last season. This season, he's already hovering near 46 points, 11 rebounds, and 8 assists a night, shooting over 62%. He's not just productive, he's controlling everything. At 6 feet 8 and 230 pounds, he's running the show while doubling as a matchup nightmare. The Lakers now have a legit franchise cornerstone who's reportedly all in for the long haul. That means no rental drama, no uncertainty, just clarity. And with the West wide open, that clarity counts. The trade also sends a message. Los Angeles is doubling down on winning now and building around one of the league's best. While Dallas resets, the Lakers already have their next era in motion, and that's a huge edge. Bulls. The Bulls have a hidden advantage in a player. Modest Buzelis might not be a headline grabber yet, but Chicago's got something brewing with him. Drafted 11th overall in 2024, he's already looking like a huge one. The guy played 80 games his rookie year, started 31, and shot over 45% from the field, over 36% from deep, and over 81% from the line. And now, in year 2, he's ramping up with 21 points, 6 rebounds, and 3 blocks in a recent win over Detroit. He's 6'8", weighs just over 200 pounds, and can play both forward spots. That kind of size and flexibility means the Bulls can slot him into just about any lineup. On defense, he's held opponents to rough nights at the rim and even ranked in the 94th percentile for block rate among rookies. That's no fluke. He's efficient in transition, a legit shooter now, and he fits the team's up-tempo pace perfectly. His rookie contract gives the Bulls breathing room too. He's a hometown guy with ties to the city, and he's got room to grow. While other teams are chasing expensive aging stars, Chicago's got a young two-way piece already working. By the way, if you guys want to subscribe, I'm going to be posting every day. Thanks. Anyways, Celtics. With Jason Tatum out, the obvious focus is what they're missing. But what they're gaining underneath the surface might matter more. While he recovers from his Achilles injury, guys like Jaylen Brown, Derek White, and Peyton Pritchard are stepping into bigger roles. Brown especially has taken the lead, averaging about 27 points, 7 rebounds, and nearly 4 assists in games without Tatum. The Celtics went 8-2 last season when Tatum sat, which shows they're not just surviving, they're still thriving. Brown also recorded a career high in assists last season, signaling growth as a creator, not just a scorer. That's not just stats padding, it's preparation. This stretch gives the rest of the roster a runway, more touches, more pressure, more time to lead. And when Tatum does return, the pieces around him will have sharpened their skills, not just waited for him. The Celtics aren't just plugging in a star, they're reintegrating into a stronger, more balanced unit. That quiet development during his absence is the hidden edge. The team becomes deeper, tougher, and more equipped to handle anything once their leader is back in the mix. Knicks. The Knicks' hidden advantage is coaching and lineup flexibility under Mike Brown. Unlike the Thibs era when the same starting 5 stayed glued together for way too long, Brown's flipping the script. He's already showing he'll mix things up depending on the matchup. And honestly, it's making a difference. He benched a traditional big-to-slide in Miles McBride when facing Boston's 4-guard lineup just to match their speed and spacing. That kind of adjustment It just wasn't happening before. In the past, three-guard sets barely showed up despite putting up strong numbers. Under Thibs, they ran that combo for just over 600 possessions, even though those lineups beat opponents by nearly 7 points per 100. Brown saw that and leaned right in. During preseason, he kept throwing out those smaller, quicker guard combinations and added 5-out spacing to stretch the floor. And it's not just the guards. Brown's also using the length of Towns and Robinson together up front, a duo that was effective last postseason. This kind of flexibility's giving the Knicks actual options now. Opponents used to know exactly what was coming. Not anymore. With this much depth and adaptability, the Knicks aren't stuck playing checkers while everybody else plays chess. Rockets. The Rockets' hidden advantage is their massive starting lineup. This group isn't just tall, it's towering. With Amen Thompson, Kevin Durant, Jabari Smith, Sengun, and Steven Adams, all standing between 6'7" and 6'11", their combined height reaches over 34 feet. That's one of the tallest starting fives in league history. What makes this more than a novelty is how they use it. This size lets them crash the glass like a wrecking ball. Whether it's offensive boards or closing out defensive possessions, they've got the length and strength to own the paint. Coach Ime Udoka made it clear they plan to clog the lane, grab rebounds, then take off in transition. It's a smart way to turn height into momentum. Defensively, they're a wall. With longer closeouts and tighter shot contests, it's harder to find clean looks. And offensively, it's a mismatch playground. Durant and Smith Jr. can operate as big wings, forcing smaller defenders to guard up. Opponents expecting a run-and-gun game might suddenly be battling giants in the post. While the league shrinks, Houston's going the other way. And in a long series, that physical advantage could grind teams down. Nets. The Nets' hidden advantage is giving rookies real minutes now so they're ready later. They drafted 5 players in the first round, including Igor Domin, Nolan Traore, Ben Seraph, and Danny Wolf. Instead of parking them on the bench, they're throwing them right into the mix. It's a sharp pivot from chasing veterans and short-term fixes. Now, they're focused on building something sustainable. This team is young, like the youngest in the league, young. The roster's average age is barely over 23. That's not just trivia. It means the whole rotation's being shaped around developing players, not filling spots with aging contracts. Demon alone is projected to play over 2,200 minutes this season. You don't give that to a rookie unless you're planning for the long haul. Noah Clowney's a great example of how this worked. After steady minutes last season, he's back with a team option picked up and climbing into a bigger role. Add in predictions like Wolf finishing top 5 on the team in assists and rebounds, and it's clear these rookies aren't window dressing. While other teams bury their youth, Brooklyn's putting theirs to work right now and building chemistry that actually matters later. Mavericks. The Mavericks' hidden advantage is Cooper Flagg getting point guard reps while Kyrie recovers. Irving tore his ACL in March and won't be back until sometime around January or February, so Dallas isn't waiting around. Head coach Jason Kidd said he's putting Flagg at point guard on purpose, just to see how the rookie handles it. And it's not just a side experiment, it's the plan. Flagg, the number 1 overall pick out of Duke, is not a traditional point guard, but that's part of the strategy. By handing him the ball early, the Mavericks give him real-time growth as a playmaker. That's development under pressure. And when Kyrie returns, he's not stepping into a cold lineup. He's joining a team where the secondary creator has already had reps. This gives Dallas flexibility. If Flagg thrives as a ball handler, they've unlocked a bigger rotation op. They can shift between dual guard sets or give Kyrie some off-ball freedom. It also means they're not scrambling mid-season to patch things up. They're building ahead. While some teams panic when stars get hurt, Dallas is treating it like a test drive, and Flagg's already got the keys. The Heat's hidden advantage is Davion Mitchell's elevated passing with higher usage. Since arriving in February, Mitchell stepped into a bigger role and made it count. In 30 games with Miami, he averaged over 5 assists per game, up from about 5 for the full season, and did it while shooting over 50% from the field and nearly 45% from deep. That's not just productive, that's efficient. In the playoffs, his role got even bigger. He played 35.5 minutes a night and dished out 6.3 assists per game. That's a huge bump under pressure, and it shows he can handle volume and pace at the highest level. It's not a fluke either. Early this season, he's already logged games with double-digit assists. What this gives Miami is depth. With Mitchell handling more of the playmaking, the offense doesn't have to rely as heavily on their main creators. He can score, pass, and manage tempo all at once. That opens up space, creates mismatches, and gives the Heat a real second unit or combo guard weapon. For a team always looking for margin, Mitchell's expanded role gives them an edge they didn't have before. Sixers. The Sixers' hidden advantage is their young backcourt trio of Tyrese Maxey, Jared McCain, and VJ Edgecombe. Each brings something different, and together they give Philadelphia a rotation most teams would kill for. Maxey's the proven engine. McCain's the floor spacer with sneaky off-ball movement, and Edgecombe is already flashing two-way talent that's hard to find in a rookie. McCain averaged over 15 points as a rookie before a meniscus tear ended his year early. He shot around 46% from the field and 38% from three. Legit production in under 26 minutes a game. Edgecombe, drafted third. Overall, dropped 34 points in his debut and locked in defensively. Maxey, he scored 40 in that same game. 74 points between them. That's not a fluke. This setup gives the Sixers more than just youth. They've got lineup flexibility, built-in insurance against injuries, and three guards who can handle, shoot, and defend. Edgecombe's defensive upside, McCain's shooting, Maxey's pacing, it all adds up. They're not built around just one guard. They're laying the groundwork for sustained, multi-threat guard play. It's a trio with range, upside, and real structure. And that's a major edge in a league that lives on backcourt versatility. Raptors. The Raptors' hidden advantage is having all five starters with real two-way upside. This isn't a one-star, four-role player situation. Emmanuel Quickley, RJ Barrett, Brandon Ingram, Scotty Barnes, and Jakob Poeltl all bring something to both ends. That's rare, and it gives Toronto structural balance most teams can't match. Quickley's coming off a major contract extension and brings playmaking plus defensive reliability. Barrett averaged over 21 points last season and is active defensively with strong on-ball effort. Ingram, recently extended, adds shot creation, size, and defensive versatility. Scotty Barnes might be the crown jewel, capable of guarding multiple positions, handling the ball, and creating mismatches all over the court. In Poeltl, he anchors the paint, protects the rim, and even chipped in career highs in scoring and assists. What this does is give Toronto flexibility. They can switch on defense, rotate through offensive options, and adjust lineups without losing two-way impact. Most teams hide at least one defender or carry a non-shooter. The Raptors, everyone can contribute both ways. With each starter showing long-term potential, they're not just competing. They're building something that can grow together and hold up under playoff pressure. That's a real advantage. Suns. The Suns' hidden advantage is Devin Booker's extension, locking him in through the 2030 season. While other teams stumble through roster overhauls, Phoenix secured their franchise anchor. Booker's new deal is worth roughly $145 million over 2 years, making it the highest annual average salary in NBA extension history. He's not just a core player. He's the piece they're building around. Booker averaged around 25 points, 7 assists, and 4 rebounds last season, and he's still in his prime. He's already the Suns' all-time leading scorer and holds the record for most threes made in franchise history. That level of production, stability, and history with one team isn't something you replace or replicate. As the Suns trade away veterans and shift into a new phase, Booker gives the roster direction. He's been vocal about unfinished business and embracing a leadership role, while other franchises start from scratch. Phoenix doesn't need to. They've got a superstar under contract, still productive, still committed, and leading a younger group. That means flexibility in how they rebuild, credibility in attracting talent, and continuity most teams envy. Booker's presence keeps Phoenix competitive now and secure moving forward. Hawks. The Hawks' hidden advantage is their smart off-season additions. Every move was built to complement Trae Young's strengths and cover his defensive gaps without overhauling the core. The biggest swing came in July when they landed Kristaps in a 3-team deal. He brings 19 points per game, rim protection, and size without costing major assets. Just George Niang and a far-off second-round pick. They followed that by signing Alexander Walker from Minnesota. He's a strong, on-ball defender who shot nearly 38% from deep and brings balance to the wing spot. His 4-year deal gives them defensive stability next to Young. Then there's Luke Kennard, signed on a 1-year deal, who offers elite floor spacing. He shot over 43% from 3 last season and thrives in corner sets, perfect for drive and kick sequences. They also added rookie Asa Newell and shooter Caleb Houstan for depth. Both bring upside and rotation potential. The goal here was clear: improve defense, increase spacing, and add versatility without messing with the offensive engine. It worked. Analysts graded the Hawks' offseason as one of the league's best, and for good reason. They retooled without panicking. The Clippers' hidden advantage is their veteran experience. With an average age of over 33, they've got one of the oldest rosters in the league, and that's actually the point. They're built to win now, not wait. Kawhi Leonard leads the group with 2 championships, 2 Defensive Player of the Year awards, and 6 All-Star nods. James Harden re-signed to keep the core intact. Bradley Beal joined on a 2-year deal and adds scoring, plus deep playoff reps. Brook Lopez brings championship pedigree and elite rim protection. And Chris Paul, he's still the voice of composure in tense moments. This isn't just about name, it's about experience. Guys who've seen every kind of playoff scenario. They know how to close games, manage pace, and stay steady when things get weird. Younger teams might fold under pressure, but this roster won't blink. That kind of stability doesn't show up in box scores, but it wins postseason series. The Clippers won't need to guess who takes the shot, who makes the stop, or who calms the huddle. Everyone's done it before. That edge makes them dangerous, especially when the games start to really matter. Nuggets. The Nuggets' hidden advantage is having Nikola Jokic, the best player in the NBA right now. That's not just hype. It's backed by everything he does on the floor. Jokic is a 3-time most valuable player, including the 2024 season, and the engine that drives Denver's entire system. He averaged nearly 30 points, over 12 rebounds, and over 10 assists last year. That's not just elite. It's completely ridiculous for a center. He ranks top 10 in points, rebounds, and assists across the league, something almost no one does, let alone from the 5 spot. And he's not padding numbers. His touches mean something. He's the primary playmaker, scorer, and rebounder for a playoff caliber team. He won the Finals MVP in 2023 when Denver took home their first title. That wasn't a fluke either. He's consistent. With Jokic, Denver doesn't need another superstar. He makes everyone better. Opponents can't scheme him out because he passes too well to double and scores too efficiently to leave alone. And because his contract runs through his prime, the Nuggets have their identity locked in. While other teams adjust, Denver already has their foundation, and it's elite. Cavaliers. The Cavaliers' hidden advantage is having 2 of the best defensive big men in the league, Evan Mobley and Jarrett Allen. This front court isn't flashy in the highlight reel sense, but what they do defensively completely changes how teams play against Cleveland. Mobley just won Defensive Player of the Year and is listed at 6'11". He's versatile enough to switch onto guards, rotate weak side, block shots, and still hold his own inside. Then there's Allen, 6'9", 243 pounds, and consistently ranked among the best rim protectors in the league. He averages close to 13 points and 9 rebounds per game over his career. But more importantly, he holds down the paint and makes drivers think twice. His defensive rating last season was around 108, showing real impact. Together, they force teams to alter offensive plan. Want to attack the paint? Good luck. These 2 don't just protect the rim, they make teams settle for jumpers and rush bad looks. Their impact doesn't always show up in the box score, but when your opponent's shooting percentage drops every time you're on the floor, that's a game changer. Cleveland's defense starts and often ends with them. Kings. The Kings' hidden advantage is their ability to ride whoever's hot offensively. No one player has to carry the load every night. With LaVine, DeMar, Sabonis, and Monk all on the floor, Sacramento has 4 legit takeover options, and the numbers prove it's not theoretical. DeMar averaged over 22 points last season and posted a net rating difference of plus 2.8 when on the floor. On February 24th, LaVine went off for 42 points, while Sabonis grabbed 10 rebounds and Monk handed out 10 assists, all in the same game. Then on March 20th, Monk exploded for 34 points on his own. The team doesn't need to guess who'll deliver. They just ride the hot hand. That flexibility makes Sacramento unpredictable. LaVine brings explosive shooting, DeMar owns the mid-range, Sabonis works inside, and Monk flies off screens. If one's cold, another steps in. Defenses can't lock in on just one threat. That's a nightmare to guard and gives the Kings matchup options every night. It's not about forcing one player into the spotlight. It's about shifting it. Sacramento's offense is built to adapt, and that makes them a real problem in any high-pressure game. Wizards. The Wizards' hidden advantage is Trey Johnson's star potential, and they're not wasting time tapping into it. Drafted 6th overall, Johnson already looks like more than just a high-upside project. At Texas, he averaged nearly 20 points, shot close to 40% from 3, and set the school's freshman scoring record with 39 points, breaking Kevin Durant's mark. That's not just college hype, it's real production from day one. Standing 6'6" with a 6'10" wingspan, he's got the size to play big at the 2 and the shooting to space the floor immediately. Scouts called him one of the purest shooters in the draft, and it's showing. In his NBA debut, he hit 4 threes and dropped 16 points. His off-ball movement and 3-level scoring aren't typical for rookies, especially ones who just turned 19. This fits perfectly with Washington's rebuild. Johnson's timeline aligns with their future, not just their present. He doesn't need the ball every possession to be effective, and that means he lifts everyone around him. For a team searching for a franchise cornerstone, Johnson's already giving them something rare. A young scorer with real polish who might just be ready sooner than expected. Pacers. The Pacers' hidden advantage is the potential Benedict Mathurin breakout season. With Tyrese Halliburton sidelined all year, Mathurin stepping into a massive opportunity. Last season, he averaged 16.1 points, 5.3 rebounds, and 1.9 assists per game, all while shooting nearly 46% from the field and 34% from deep. Those were already career highs, but now he's not just a secondary piece, he's the one driving the offense. In the first game of this season, he dropped 36 points and grabbed 11 boards in 45 minutes. That came with strong efficiency too. He hit 9 of 19 from the floor, knocked down 3 of 8 from beyond the arc, and nailed 15 of 17 at the line. That's a huge scoring jump from last year's average, and it's not a fluke. He followed it up with 26 more in the next outing. His usage is way up, his confidence is through the roof, and that shift opens everything up for Indiana. Instead of chasing big trades, the Pacers are watching real growth from within. That's not flashy, but it's harder for teams to prepare for, and that's a real edge. Bucks. The Bucks' hidden advantage is their defensive versatility and positional flexibility. Swapping Brook Lopez for Miles Turner changed everything. Turner's known for blocking over 2 shots a game and guarding anywhere on the floor. That's not just rim protection, it's mobility the team didn't have. Doc Rivers even pointed out how Turner isn't a traditional drop big, which gives Milwaukee more room to mix up their coverage. They already had wings, like Taurean Prince, who can guard multiple spots. And when you combine that with Giannis' ability to switch onto nearly anyone, it's a defense nightmare for opponents. Last season, they ranked 12th in defensive rating at 113.4. But those numbers could easily rise now. The real advantage here is how unpredictable they'll be. Turner can hedge, recover, or switch out on guards, cutting down on mismatches that burned them before. Their lineups can shift without leaving weak points, and in crunch time, that flexibility matters most. Against more rigid Eastern teams, this style makes them tougher to exploit. Building this kind of adaptable defense wasn't flashy, but it's absolutely strategic, and that's what gives Milwaukee a true hidden edge. Jazz. The Jazz hidden advantage is their 3-tall front court trio. Laurie stands 7'1", Walker Kessler hits 7'2", and rookie Kyle Filipowski checks in at 6'11". That's a wall. And it's not just about size for the sake of size. These guys can actually play together. One lineup featuring Laurie Kessler and a third, Big posted an offensive rating of 122.9 and a defensive rating of 79.6 in just 22 minutes. Laurie can shift between the 4 and 5, Kessler holds it down at center, and Filipowski gives the rotation even more height without sacrificing movement or effort. Against smaller teams, they're going to dominate the glass and clog the paint. That's a built-in mismatch most teams can't handle. Utah's entire offseason leaned into this identity. They're not just tall. They're mobile, versatile, and hard to game plan. Against, most lineups are built for spacing and guard play. Utah's doing the opposite. And with Filipowski developing behind 2 proven 7-footers, their size advantage is only getting deeper. When a team can rotate 3 near 7-footers, that's not typical. It's a real edge. Spurs. The Spurs' hidden advantage is having a generational superstar in Victor Wembanyama. He's 7'4", with an unreal wingspan, and has already shown why some call him a future greatest of all time. In his second season, he's putting up jaw-dropping numbers. Last year, he averaged over 24 points, 11 rebounds, nearly 4 assists, and led the league 3.8 blocks per game. He was the first rookie ever to make the all-defensive first team. This season started loud, 40 points, 15 rebounds, and 3 blocks in a blowout win over Dallas. He only missed 6 shots and broke the Spurs record for most points in a season opener. Through 3 games, he's the first player in the league history to open a season with over 100 points and 15 blocks. He's cleared for full minutes after last season's health scare, and the Spurs are building around him fast. They've locked in guys like Fox and Barnes and added vets like Luke Cornett. But everything revolves around Wembanyama. He's not just a top prospect. He's already producing like a superstar. That gives San Antonio something most rebuilding teams don't have, a real foundation. Thunder. The Thunder hidden advantage is that they're the heavy favorites to win, but they don't carry the pressure of a team trying to repeat. They've never won a championship since moving to Oklahoma City, so there's no legacy weight, just hunger. Last season, they went 68-14 with a point differential of plus 12.9, the best mark in the league. When the finals rolled around, sportsbooks listed them at roughly minus 750 to beat Indiana, one of the largest favorite gaps ever. They had the highest betting handle to win the West at about 28% and over 22% to win the title, which says everything about how the public and experts view them. Analysts unanimously picked them over Indiana, thanks to their youth, depth, and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander leading the charge. What's wild is that all this expectation comes without real pressure. They're chasing history, not defending it. That lets them play loose while still holding the respect of every opponent. It's a perfect storm. Dominance without baggage. For Oklahoma City, that combination of freedom and focus is exactly what turns contenders into champions. Blazers. The Blazers' hidden advantage is Damian Lillard's presence off the court during his recovery year. After tearing his Achilles in April, Lillard re-signed for 3 more years and is expected to miss nearly the entire season. But instead of being away, he's taken on a mentorship role, something Portland's young roster badly needs. Reports already call him a bench leader, acting like an assistant coach without the title. Players like Scoot Henderson and Shaedon Sharpe benefit directly. Lillard's been through it all, and now he's sharing that experience without the pressure of suiting up. It's rare for a franchise to get a veteran presence like that during a rebuild. This kind of guidance doesn't show up in box scores, but it shapes locker rooms, mindsets, and systems. The team reportedly leans on Lillard to reinforce structure, game management, and culture. The Blazers are in no rush to win right now, and that's the point. They're quietly building something long-term, using this season to develop the future while keeping their leader in-house. It's not flashy, but it's intentional. Lillard's role this year is about legacy, and that's a massive hidden advantage for Portland. Timberwolves. The Timberwolves' hidden advantage is their playoff experience and momentum. They've now made the playoffs 4 straight years, reaching the Western Conference Finals in both 2024 and 2025. That kind of consistency is rare for a young core. They even took down the defending champion Denver Nuggets in 2024 and followed that up by beating Golden State 4 games to 1 the next spring. Under Chris Finch, they've built real postseason credibility. Mike Conley talked about playing in his 3rd conference finals and how this group handles pressure differently now. You can see it. They've been through those intense moments, those runs where every possession matters. That experience is gold when games tighten late. While other young teams are still learning how to win, Minnesota already knows what it takes to survive deep into May. It's not just talent anymore, it's belief. They've proven they belong on that stage, and that mindset carries into every matchup. Opponents now treat them as a serious threat, not a surprise act. For a franchise that once struggled to even make the postseason, that earned momentum is exactly what gives them their hidden edge. Magic. The Magic hidden advantage is their elite defense, which already ranks among the best in the league. In the 2024 to 2025 season, Orlando posted a defensive rating of 109.6, second best in the NBA. They also allowed only about 105 points per 100 possessions and forced over 15 turnovers per game. That's not just a solid defense, it's a full identity. Most rebuilding teams lean on offense and hope it clicks, but Orlando's already built a system that shuts teams down. Franz, Paolo, and Anthony Black are all key contributors on that side. They've got length, instincts, and a system designed to disrupt. The Magic allowed the fewest opponent assists in the league and kept games close even when their offense struggled. It gives them room to develop the scoring side while staying competitive. A team like this can absorb offensive growing pains without falling apart. That's the real advantage. Stability. Opponents might overlook it because it doesn't scream highlight reel, but elite defense is hard to build and harder to sustain. Orlando has that edge, and that makes them dangerous. Pistons. The Pistons' hidden advantage is Cade Cunningham, arguably the most underrated superstar in the NBA. Last season, he averaged 26.1 points, 9.1 assists, and 6.1 rebounds per game. He made his first All-Star appearance in 2025 and signed a 5-year, $224 million extension shortly after. But despite those numbers, he topped polls for the league's most underrated player. This season, he's already averaging 23 points and 9 assists. That level of production, especially with his all-around impact, gives Detroit a franchise cornerstone most rebuilding teams dream about. He scores, he creates, he rebounds, and he's only getting better. Opponents might still underrate him, but that works in the Pistons' favor. Detroit isn't scrambling for a star. They have one. That clarity lets them build the roster around Cade without gambling on short-term fixes. His presence gives the team identity, direction, and a competitive baseline. When your best player is consistent, underappreciated, and still climbing, it's a hidden edge. Cunningham's doing superstar things without superstar noise, and that makes him one of the most valuable pieces in the league. Hornets. The Hornets' hidden advantage is their low expectations going into this season. After finishing with just 19 wins and missing the playoffs for a 9th straight year, no one's expecting much from Charlotte, but that's exactly where the opportunity is. Teams that aren't supposed to win get the space to grow without the pressure to perform right away. They're rolling into the season with a young core: LaMelo, Brandon Miller, and Knueppel, and a whole lot of minutes to hand out. No one's calling them contenders, which means they can experiment with lineups, test development plans, and let their players find rhythm without being picked apart for every mistake. Their numbers last year were rough, last in points per game, one of the lowest offensive ratings, and a net rating of -9.3. But when the baseline is that low, even a small jump looks massive. If they start winning a few more games or keeping things close, people notice. And when opponents walk in thinking it'll be easy, that's when surprises happen. Charlotte's not under the microscope, and that freedom might be the biggest edge they've got right now. Pelicans. The Pelicans' hidden advantage is an elite two-way wing duo in Herb Jones and Trey Murphy. Both stand 6'8" and bring different tools to the table, but together they cover both ends of the floor. Herb Jones is the defensive anchor, long, strong, and disruptive. He's averaged 10.1 points, 3.8 rebounds, and 2.5 assists over his career. And the team's defensive rating with him on the court sits around 113.9. He earned all defensive first-team honors in 2024 for a reason. Then there's Trey Murphy. He's not just a shooter, he's a scorer with growing defensive chops. In the season before his injury, he put up 21.2 points, 5.1 rebounds, and 3.5 assists while shooting 45% from the field, 36 from 3, and 89 at the line. This duo gives the Pelicans lineup flexibility and matchup power. They can switch, space the floor, defend wings, and adapt to just about any style. While some teams chase big names, New Orleans has two young, versatile wings flying just under the radar, and that's a big-time hidden edge. Grizzlies. The Grizzlies' hidden advantage is Cedric Coward, a rookie wing already flashing big-time upside. Memphis traded up to draft him 11th overall, sending out future picks to land him, so they clearly weren't guessing. Coward's path was unusual, starting at Division III, transferring to Washington State, and now lighting up NBA games. In one of his first appearances, he scored 27 points in just 24 minutes, hitting 9 of 13 shots and a perfect 6 for 6 from deep. He followed that with 14 points on perfect shooting against New Orleans and is averaging 19 points per game early on. He's also posting nearly 4 rebounds, over 2 assists, almost 2 steals, and shooting north of 70% from the field and 3. At 6'6", with a reported 7'2" wingspan, he's got the frame and skill to defend multiple positions while knocking down shots from everywhere. Add in injuries across Memphis's roster, and there's room for him to carve out a role fast. He's not just a long-term bet, he's producing right now. That's rare. And for the Grizzlies, having that kind of surprise contributor is a real hidden edge. If you enjoyed this, I'm going to be posting a lot here. I would greatly appreciate it if you could subscribe. Thanks for watching.